Hi students, so today for our lesson we are going to do a project that I actually found online that another teacher posted that I think looks really fun. So we're going to use her lesson, and I'm actually going to put the link to her lesson plan on the resources page. So you can go there and you can click on it if you prefer to have like photos and written step by step. You can look at hers instead of watching this video. But I like to personally just make the video showing all the steps. And so if you prefer that way, you can do that too. To get started, the very first thing we have to talk about is complementary colors, because the lesson is about using a complementary color scheme. In art, I try to talk about colors and color schemes a lot, so quite a few of you probably already know what complementary colors are. For those who don't remember, I have my trusty color wheel here, and if you look at the color wheel, so for those who don't remember, the complementary colors are colors that are opposite of the color wheel. So if you have a color wheel to look at, it's really easy to see, because we can see that red and green are across from each other, orange and blue are across from each other, and yellow and purple are across from each other. So those are our pairs. Another way to think about complementary colors is that we have red, yellow, and blue are our primary colors. So really important thing to remember about primary colors is that you can't mix any colors to make a primary color. You need to start with the primary colors to make all of the other colors. So then if you mix two primary colors, you get your secondary colors. So for example, red and yellow make orange. We don't use any blue to make orange, and that's why orange and blue are complementary colors. Okay, so we don't use any blue in the color orange, and that's why when you put blue and orange next to each other, they really pop. Okay, so people will use, and like designers will use complementary colors to kind of make really loud pictures that draw attention, or loud signage if they want people to read their signs. So really quick, I'm going to just write the pairs here, because before you start coloring yours, you need to pick which pair you want to use. So you could do you could do orange. Wow. You could do reds or greens. You could do, let's do another primary. So yellow, and opposite yellow is purple. So you could put yellows or purples, or you can pick blue and orange. Okay? So, there we go. So whichever one of these calls you, just kind of mentally decide which one you're going to do. And I'm going to go into the next steps. We're going to come back to this when we actually get to the coloring part. But the next step we're going to do is the drawing part.
So what drew me to this project is that it's a really fun, kind of sunny, summery project, and we're getting really close to summertime. It's getting warmer every day. So I thought it'd be fun to do this one. What we're going to draw is we're going to draw citrus fruit cut open. So citrus is a grapefruit, orange, lemon, lime. Those are all examples of citrus fruit. And if you were to cut those fruits in half and look at them, they all look the same. And that's what we're going to draw right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with a circle like this. And then inside that circle, we're going to draw triangles that kind of have rounded corners. And there's really no right or wrong way to draw this. It doesn't have to be perfect, because nothing in my art room needs to be perfect. I think it's way more fun to have not perfect art.
In a way, this kind of looks like the color wheel I drew
for the last page. So if you just kind of fill up the inside with these kind of triangle shapes, you can make them more triangular if you want. I kind of like having them more round, because I think that makes it look a little bit more realistic. You could kind of play with doing another little line right here as if this is the peel, or if you don't have enough space to put it inside, you could put it on the outside. You could do some seeds if you want to have some seeds showing.
Let's do two in this one.
Okay, Then what you're going to do is, we're just about done with the drawing part. We're gonna break the background into squares. So to do that, we're just gonna do stripes straight up and down. And we're gonna go straight across. So now the next step that you're going to do when you're done drawing the shapes is you need to pick your complementary pair. So I'm gonna do orange and blue. And let's see, I'm going to draw my lines with my oil pastel. I'm gonna draw them orange. So all of my citrus lines is what I'm gonna call them, are gonna be traced orange. And all of my background lines, notice how I'm actually tracing bigger with the oil pastel, because when you draw with a pencil, it's a lot easier to draw smaller shapes. And then when we've talked about this before, when you change to an oil pastel, you realize that some things you did with your pencil might be too small. So I'm gonna kind of fix that as I go. And then when I'm done tracing the orange, I'm going to trace the background with my opposite color. So in this case, because I have orange, the opposite color is blue. And you wanna make sure you stick to your complements. You don't wanna just pick any two colors, you wanna pick two complementary colors. And if you click that link, notice I'm making my orange bigger than it was before, but that's okay. If you click on the link that I put on the page too, that teacher shares a bunch of different examples. So if you want to look at those first before you decide what colors you want to do, that can be kind of fun because you can see all the different colors that you can pick. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to watercolor it, but we're actually going to switch it up again. So because I outlined my citrus with orange, I'm going to now paint it using all blues. And because I did my background with blue, I'm going to paint it using all oranges. And I don't have the same watercolors you guys do. My pigments are a little bit different. They're more muted. You're probably actually going to have more fun with the colors that you used because you guys have brighter pigments. But something that I want to talk about with using the watercolor is it's going to be a lot more fun to look at if you kind of mix your colors a little bit to make new colors. But we don't want to mix them so much that they're no longer blues or oranges. So if we look at the color wheel again, a good rule that we can have is, first of all, if you are painting with blue, you can use lots of water and a little bit of blue. That's going to give you a light blue. And if you use a little bit of water and more blue paint, that's going to give you a dark blue. So with that, you could have all different blues just by adding different amounts of water. So you can play with that. Another thing you can play with is if you want to mix colors, is you can kind of play with mixing a little bit of blue with purple because they're neighbors, and that's going to make a blue-purple color. Or you could also play with mixing a little bit of blue with green, but we still want it to be mostly blue. Okay, so even though you're going to start making these blue-green kind of teal colors and some blue-purple kind of like navy plum colors, we still want it to be mostly blue, and those are called tertiary colors when you mix a primary and a secondary color. So you can play with that. Because I also have orange, when I paint my orange parts, I'm also going to play with mixing my orange with reds and mixing my oranges with yellows to get some different ones. So I'm going to paint this now and mix colors. I will put it on time lapse so it's quick, and you guys can just watch my examples so you have some ideas for your own. All right, so I just finished painting my I'm gonna call it an orange, my citrus, but it's all blue. And notice how I tried to use some different types of blue. So I have like a more green blue here. I have a really light blue, dark blue. It just looks, each shape looks different. So that's a really good thing to try. Remember that for crayon and oil pastel, or sorry, for crayon and watercolor, or oil pastel and watercolor to work, you really need to push hard with the oil pastel or the crayon, because if you don't have a really good strong line, it's not going to be able to keep the watercolor from sticking to the paper. So that's just a really important thing to remember before you start painting. I'm going to do the background now. The background, I'm going to do each square. I'm going to try to do each square a different color orange. So let's see how that goes.
Okay, so that's it for today. If you really liked that one, this could be a really cool one to do multiples of. So multiples is where you do more than one. So maybe you do one with blue and orange, and then you do another one with green and red. And you could even have a set of all three with all three complementary color pairs. But it's up to you. If you do this, make sure you take a picture and email it to me so I can put it in our student gallery. Have fun!